Now you've already seen pictures of the EQG in India, but now it's time to take a closer look. And as you can see, Mercedes hasn't messed with the design, so it's very, very similar to the original combustion engine G-Wagon. Yes, this grille is different, and so are the lighting elements a bit here and there. But it must be said that we've seen later versions of this prototype, this electric G prototype at CES, and those are much more production ready with a much simpler grille. So you have all those traditional iconic elements, the round headlight, like I just mentioned, this top-mounted indicator, the very blocky design, and I'll quickly show you. It still sounds literally like the tank kind of sound that you get in it. Very similar side profile. Yes, you do get these 21-inch EV efficiency wheels, but that's about it. And this two-tone paint and a pretty sleek roof rack. Now it's again very similar at the back. We can't open the boot, but in this particular car is a box to store the charger, but in later versions we think this will just be another spare wheel. Now coming to the specs of this thing, it's going to still be a ladder frame. You don't have too many EVs like that around. And it's going to get a 2-speed gearbox to sort of mimic that low ratio reduction gear that the IC version has. It's going to get a 2-speed gearbox for that. And just to make sure that it's still as capable off-road as the original was, you are also going to get 4 electric motors. Now the outputs aren't known yet. So 1 motor at each wheel. So you can expect at least 600 PS and maybe close to 1000 Nm of torque. Very similar maybe to the EQS or the G63 for that matter. It will probably surpass that. Now this is the charging port. Again, very IC-like. Now this car is going to support 200 kilowatts of charging, which is going to make it pretty quick. So yeah, that pretty much sums up the specs, what we know so far at least. And now, quick look at the interior. On the inside, you see again, Mercedes hasn't messed too much with what needn't be messed with. But of course, this is still an older version, so maybe you'll get the newer screen setups with the new MBUX, the new NTG software. You'll get the new center console, maybe the new steering wheel, so on and so forth. These buttons might change to say what is on the EQS for that matter. But we quite like this white interior, and maybe they should keep that going. Now, as you can see, in terms of space here, not a lot has changed. Although I can't sit inside and tell you exactly if it's any different from the regular G class, but it looks largely similar considering they've had to pack quite a bit of stuff in here. It's not a completely flat floor, still almost flat. Again, very similar to the regular G. So yeah, when you're buying this, you're buying more or less, at least that's what we think, a G-Class that just happens to be electric. Now Mercedes has already confirmed that this car will come to India once it launches. So that should be in about a year and a half. So what do you think it should be priced at? The normal G-Class is already pretty expensive. So this will of course go further than that. But it's going to be probably an EV that you've never experienced before. Please let us know in the comments.